Oh, awesome. Well, thank you, Ready Robbie, for letting me know that if I'm speaking, nobody can hear me because I was on mute again. I'm really bad with the mute buttons. Both times this was my software, I double-checked my inline mic, and my inline mic is good, but yeah. Derp. Okay, so I will start over because I don't think you guys heard me for any of this. So we have the warm gray Albrecht Dürer watercolor marker. This is a light gray, so this should be good for doing sketches, concept work, so it should just be able to blend pretty much into the background. These are the Albrecht Dürers, and we have Scarlet Red, light cadmium yellow, and cobalt blue. I don't know if I have these because of my Albrecht Dürers. They were all open stock, so I don't know if I have any of these. So those will probably be new to me. Same thing with the watercolor marker. I haven't gotten any of their watercolor markers before, but I have heard good things, and that'll be fun to play with. And then we have the Polychromos Pencils. So there's 3 of these as well, same colors, cobalt blue, light cadmium yellow, and scarlet red. I probably have all of these. What would I do without you? I'd be fucking bored. That's what, probably. I think we're far enough in the stream that when this gets uploaded to YouTube, they won't flag me for it. It's like, I mark my videos that they are not for children because, you know, sometimes curses are warranted. But anyways, yeah, so I think I have these. I have the 36 color set, and then I have a couple extras open stock because of a botanical book that I was going through, which I really want to get back to that and play with that palette. And then we have the Faber-Castell 9000. And this is a 2B. And it says, oh, water-based varnish. I'm just thinking like, what? This is water soluble, but no. And we also have a 2B in the Pit Graphite Mat, which I am kind of excited that they included this one because this is supposed to be a really dark and matte one. It's one thing I've always been annoyed when I was doing portraits in graphite, that when you wanted that really deep value, those areas would wind up becoming shiny just because the graphite's reflective. So I feel like this will be better for that. I'm blanking on the hardness scale. I think the B's are softer, if I remember right. I really don't stray far from my standard like HB. And then we have some Pitt pens, which I always love. So we have a fine liner in extra small. It's a 0.1. It's actually smaller than the one that I have sitting on my desk. Like, gee, am I a fan? Yeah, I have a couple of those wallet sets. Alright, and then we have a brush, which I have a bunch of these, but I'm not unhappy to get another one because they dry out, and I am a weird person where, like, if I kill one in a set, I want to get open stock and keep the set complete. I know I'm weird about that, but both of these are very welcome. These are waterproof. To my knowledge, they're based on India ink. Actually, there we go. I could just read the thing. India ink, waterproof, maximum light fastness, acid-free. So all good things when you're dealing with professional grade art. We'll see if I can... We'll go ahead and just do the autofocus over here. There we go. Yeah, me and this autofocus, man. Back and forth with messing with it. We have some Stonehenge Aqua paper. Actually, I think they give me Aqua cold press of 140, 300, and a hot press in 140. So these are all decent weights. I very rarely use paper that is less than 140 pound. It's just a preference because of buckling as soon as you add water. So I'm glad that they went with a heavier weight there. And I'm going to leave this sealed for the moment. I am happy to play with some more paper. And then we have the Aqua cold press in black. Let's see. First 100% cotton black paper size for watercolor. That's cool. Alright, and it says cold press in black, and we have Aqua cold press in black heavy. Not sure what the difference is. There is a 300-pound block and 300-pound sheets available, and then pads are in 140, and sheets are also available in 140. So I'm kind of curious if the heavy is just a 300-pound, which would make sense. Yeah, I think so, looking at the edge here. So I think I got one of the 300-pound and one of the 140. That's cool. I'm slightly sad that both of these are cold press though, because I tend to prefer hot press. But you know, it's good for me to experiment, get out of the box a bit. Information on use, a nice big BV pamphlet. So let me get the box out of the way and then we can open this up a little bit better. So the box is now empty. Move it off a frame. Try not to make too much noise. I'm just going to do a quick kind of flip through. If you are quick about pausing, you can go ahead and read along. I'm not really trying to be bogged down with just this. I kind of just want to fly through this and take a look at stuff. Number 272 I think is... yes. So there we go. That's about what the watercolor brush should be at. So it's got a fiber tip and a brush nib, which is nice. And then you can also go ahead and fade out the edges with water further on a watercolor brush or water brush, stuff like that. Artist pens. I love the brush pens. And they're all India ink too. So like all of these colors are India ink. There's also like, as far as another brand of India ink where you can get different colors, P.H. Martin has the Bombay line. And those are ones that I'm also looking into because I like the flexibility of having individual ink containers so I can go ahead and mix custom colors. So that's a thought. I have that set. I need to play with that set more. Actually, I might do that on that cold press black paper. See how opaque it goes. And of course, I have this set. I haven't seen these Echo ones. That's cool. And pastel pencils. I am tempted to get some pastel pencils. I have a random green one to go with that paper that I bought to do, I want to do a picture of poison ivy in greens and Conte, like sanguine colors. And then some chalk. Wow. I think I need that 14B. Look at that. It's like the goth in me. Yeah. See, that displays very well my annoyance with graphite. You get it at the right angle, and it just washes out half that shading. And doesn't show it as nice and crisp. So I will definitely be looking forward to messing with that. Alright, and Graphite Aqua Rose. I don't think, no, this one's the green one. Yeah, you can tell real quick, barrel color a lot of times will differentiate which line you're looking at. There we go, the Castell 9000. Graphite Drawing Pencil. Smooth, never scratchy, environmentally safe, water-based coating, guaranteed to easily sharpen. Okay. Alright. And we're still flipped through. Ooh. I haven't played with these. I have some oil-based pencils from another line, different manufacturer. They're from, oh crap, I'm gonna blank on their name. It's right by my desk. But anyway, they are a lot of fun. I have the black and white set from them. I'm trying to edge out the little bit of the box because it's actually inside of something. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna move my candle. Splat. And just so I can pull out the box for this, because this is a great set too. Create a color. This isn't the tin. The tin's over on the shelf, but I left the sleeve off because I was using it often enough to just grab it. So there we go. And it's a really pretty set. I mean, I can't say I'm not partial to the box art too, because that's kind of my thing. But yeah, fun stuff. All right. Moving on. That looks like a fun set. This is kind of similar as far as the variety that the Create a Color set is. I love old sketching sets like that. And I don't mean like old, like in a negative way. It's just a lot of like classic media, and it's been incredibly helpful to have it. Nice. Perfect color consistency for whichever medium you choose, that is one of the big things that they've spent a lot of time on, is having the colors match depending on, you know, which media you switch over to. You can find a match for everything. So that's awesome. Alrighty. We're just about done. Alright. And kind of like, you know, I have a random offcut. I think I'm going to use that for swatching instead of the samples of paper that they included, because I feel like I want to do something a little bit like nicer with the samples, like, because just swatches on a sample doesn't really tell you how it handles, like working on a real project would tell you. And this is my really cheap, just Canson XL watercolor paper, and I'm gonna switch over to mute for a moment while I go ahead and do some swatching, because I have a fussy butt in the background. Because I knew that part was going to be a little difficult for him, and actually I need to be right back. I haven't swapped my water in my jar in a bit, and it looks kind of funky, so I moved the supplies over here. You can look at supplies while I go change my water dish real quick. So I'll do the be right back. I'm just going to mute my inline mic because maybe I'll be less likely to leave it on mute again. And see you in just a moment. schedule at all anymore. And this would normally be a nap time. Alright, so, kind of broke up the small ones, so that way the smallest one might nap, because this is his normal nap time. I was hoping that he would go ahead and catch his nap now, because that would be helpful. Alright, try and see how much time we have. Oh, and he's just gonna be cranky. So we'll do a quick little bit of swatching. Yeah, I accidentally trimmed this an inch short for doing my swatch sheets, which you'll see in just a moment. So we have the warm gray bullet tip, classic bullet tip. That is a beefy brush nib. It is not very flexible. It does flex like at the very tip, but I feel like I would just be beating that up. This feels like the, hate to say it, kind of like the Crayola brush tips. Like they don't go very far. It is getting a darker value where I'm going back over it again. But yeah, I don't love the feel of that nib. It doesn't flex as much as the pits, which is kind of like, I guess, the general benchmark that I have in my head for it. It's not bad. I think I would use the bullet tip more for the actual sketching, and then maybe the brush tip for shading because of you know, broader strokes I can do. So not bad. And label this. This is so nice and fine. I like these. I didn't know they made an extra small. That is lovely. I'll go ahead and do my autofocus. Look how tiny that is. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and number it. Warm gray 272. Warm gray with an E. Number 3. Alright, and we'll let that dry a little bit. Let's do some little stippling dots. But this is the pit. Small 0.1. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit biased. I'm starting with the markers. Actually, play with the marker. Yeah, that does have a nice flex. Like it all pushes down, but it also doesn't spread out as much as I was thinking. I guess I'm remembering incorrectly. It's been too long since I've sketched with these. I really need to do that again. I think the last time I was really sketching and drawing with these was probably high school. I've got a couple of the like floral and lettering sets lately. I do still use these when I'm doing some line work and a lot of writing, unfortunately. Like they're kind of getting wasted writing in journals and stuff. Sorry about that. Like hacking Try not to be hacking on camera. Helpful's not fun though. Beefy? Yeah. It is definitely nice to be back though. Alright, I'm trying to kind of plow my way through swatching these just because like I have so much other stuff to like show and yeah, it's been, the past month has been a madhouse. I stepped away from a lot of the creative projects that I have been doing on this channel because the majority have been like wow, two trains of thought going at the same time. So mostly like the drawing and painting that I tend to do on the channel, that stuff has all kind of been on the back burner. So lately I've been doing more technical type projects. And you know what, it's a good time to go ahead and test out that eraser because I can't write when I'm talking. Like trying to write out the Castell 9000. I'm about to put another 9 over there. It's like, you know what, let's try this eraser. Oh, that feels weird. It's kind of slick in a way. Like I feel it. It's like it slightly bends. It's more like a textured like plastic or rubber. It feels smoother, so I'm like leaning a little bit more towards like plastic. Well, that's good. There's no color transfer, so it looks like it erased pretty cleanly. There's a slight texture to this paper. The Canson XL watercolor pads, they don't have like a soft press, not a soft press, a cold press versus a hard press. It's just, here's the texture. And it's pretty slight, so it makes it so it's not too difficult to do sketching on top. Of course, it's always better to just transfer your line work to a drawing, and like to your final surface instead of drawing, just because the eraser can damage the gelatin sizing on the paper. It can affect how your watercolor wash goes down. So with cellulose-based papers, they're pretty forgiving about that because they're sized pretty strongly. So as long as you're only erasing like a little bit and you didn't go like hardcore with it, you're generally fine. But other stuff is not amused. Like cotton paper. Ooh. I've been mostly playing with the Fluid 100 block, the easy block. Some dots here, just continuity. That's not bad. I'm gonna go a little darker here, a little rougher with it, just to see how dark of a value I can get. And this is kind of burnishing some of that texture down. This is not what I would generally recommend doing. As far as like for watercolor purposes, I generally don't like to mar the surface. But yeah, for graphic drawings like portrait stuff like that, sometimes you go a little harder with your deeper values. I'm just curious to see what that looks like. So, I'll show you what I mean about that graphite sheen. I should be able to catch it in the light here. Okay, there you go. It's like blam, and it's just washed out like it's silver. Like, it is a cool sheen that you get from it, but it can be a pain when you just want that like really deep, rich value. And in which case, you know, I recommend at that point go ahead, switch over to like charcoal. And I'm gonna look at that packing slip just to see if there's any interesting stuff on that in a moment. This is the Pitt Graphite Mat. I'll just put it over here. It feels slightly less smooth. And it's only like the tiniest bit of difference, and I'm putting in the like switching between the two, and that makes sense because there's probably charcoal in here. Charcoal is slightly rougher. Graphite, when you use like powdered graphite in machining, it's actually used as a lubricant, so graphite itself is going to be smoother in general. But yeah, I suspect that they add like a little bit of charcoal or something to go ahead and create this richer color, like lay down. That is nice. It is still pretty smooth. There is a tiny bit of a sheen. And it's a sheen, I think, more because like I'm burnishing the paper surface. Like you can actually see, like, I'll show you up close in a second here. I'll do some lighter, do some cross-hatching, really rough cross-hatching, catch the point. These random dots. I'm not a big stipple person, but anytime I'm playing with new pen points and whatnot, stippling is one of those things that I go into. I do actually have a little bit of powder laid down. Let me blow that off. I mean, I could use it to see how much it smudges, because this one's a new one to me. I mean, with a light rub, it's not going anywhere. I don't see any deposit on me. This one probably, yeah, that one smudges. So it smudges less, which could be a good or a bad thing, depending on what you're trying to do. It might smudge if I would have left those deposits there, so I'm gonna just do this bottom section a little rougher, see if I can get a little bit of pigment deposit, see if that'll... Yeah, it'll blend if you leave a bit of a deposit there, but if you blow it off, it's pretty much staying put. Not a bad thing to me, as far as like laying down some line work for something and getting to work. Let's see how it erases. It does not seem to want to go completely on the area I went to town on. Oh, I'm coughing so much out of nowhere. The area that I went pretty moderate tone, that came up pretty easily, but yeah, if you really lay it down, you're not picking it all up. And that's pretty much to be expected when you're doing pencil work. Alright, so I'll go ahead and we'll see how this goes. I don't know why the song just cut off like it did. What's going on with my music player? Yeah, I've really enjoyed having a playlist saved to my device, and I think that is the end of the album. Yes, it is. Alright, so I'm just going to put it on to all of the albums that I have. And this will get kind of random because these albums all have a different theme. They're all done by the same artist. It's Dark Fantasy Studio. This one right now is called Archives Volume 1, The Dark Side. I have more of their stuff I need to finish downloading because I got this huge pack of their albums. Now that watercolor marker's set for a little bit, I want to go ahead and try wetting it. I'm just going to grab my normal Princeton Velvet Touch round number 8. And I'm looking at what time it is, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get into any of the other stuff. That re-wet's really, really nice and easy. That's cool. I can definitely picture doing some like misty landscapes with that, and use the Pit Artist brush with it. Mists out in the mountains. Actually, I did landscape similar to that not too long ago when I was testing my my watercolor postcard pad. So this is a Faber-Castell postcard, and I did this rough little landscape scene. I forget if I did the first page. No, I did the first page as just swatches, so I had all my ink swatches in one spot together. So I was tired of looking for them. I'll keep swatching them in random places and they wander off. Trying to get a little bit more organized and have my stuff a little more centralized for that. So I like how the Caroline Green creates some really great mist, and you can drop some water into it to push that pigment out. So that was fun. But, that's the only thing in here other than swatches. That was done a couple months ago. I think I might have mentioned that in a previous stream. I was doing this course for auditing a course for natural history illustration, which was pretty cool. I'm gonna leave this brush over here because we can go into the Albert Dors, the watercolor pencils. Slide these guys out of the way. Eraser dust everywhere, and I got water everywhere because I'm messy. Alright, so we see. I think I'm gonna kind of scribble these guys into like a loose-ish color band just to see how these blend. Like a heavy yellow spot, go a little bit lighter into the red. I'm not gonna go all the way over. I want to see them blend. Curious to see how well they'll blend. Oh, I should have brought some yellow this way. Hold on. I'll come back and do that. And do a little heavier here. Kind of fade this way. And back out this way. Yellow. In general, yellow is not a very strong pigment for mixing. Like the tinting strength of it is just not great. So I think I'm going to start with the yellow and head out towards the red, just because I'm a lefty. And I should probably blot this a little bit. Grab one of my paper towels. I feel like that's a lot of color laid down, and I don't want it just shooting off that way, because it might. It's a decent orange. It's definitely a warm red. It reminds me of a cadmium color. Alright, so I'm blotting the brush a little bit. And let's go ahead. I'm gonna try to be right-handed for a second and take this yellow off to the blue side. And that it feels funky. I'm gonna blot a little bit before I keep going into the blue. I don't want to turn on my blue green. That dissolves pretty nicely. I am not right-handed, so that is not smooth. So that side's not going to look as smooth just because that's not my dominant hand. There we go. Come back in, dissolve a little more pigment. Unfortunately, introducing a little bit of water into that mix. I don't love the green you get from this. Might help if I had a little more pigment down, because I did kind of blot in an inopportune time. Ambidextrous, so you don't know what the problem is. Ha! The only time I force myself to be right-handed, other than that little attempt to swatch, would be when I'm doing calligraphy. I'll try to be right-handed for that, just because otherwise I'm kind of a mess. So I'm not going to spend my time labeling this, because I know these are the only Albert Dors in this, and the two sets are of the same names. So you know what I will do though? I'll go ahead and do a little swatch of the watercolor pencils up top, and then we're going to do a little swatch of the Polychromos below, so we can check out that claim of similar colors for both. Well, I'll label this stuff later, so we can do like a comeback to it next week. So for the time being, I think I'm going to keep doing streams on Wednesdays at 4. And we'll see maybe how many people might pick up a little bit. I do have a survey out on Facebook. I've gone ahead and shared that to my personal profile page as well as to the Red Persephone art page. And I do seem to be in the midst of a slight rebranding in the sense of I was going with just Red Persephone, but somebody has that username on a lot of media. So I'm kind of a little bit more towards specifying Red Persephone art. I've already done that for like the page handle. At the moment, Facebook doesn't seem to be letting me rename my page. So the page itself only says Red Persephone, but when you look at the @ on Facebook, it says Red Persephone art. So it's a little weird, but most things I've specified art anyway. And when I do my next round of business card design, I'll go ahead and adjust that accordingly, just to limit confusion and differentiate a little bit to whoever has been using that name. Like even on Steam, I finally got a Steam account. And that one's Red Persephone Games, but that is for a weekly game session. Actually, that's Wednesdays too. I might need to rethink the Wednesdays. But checking out the swatch between the Polychromos and the Albrecht doors. Go ahead. And the only real difference you can see is like when you tip a little bit, you get a waxy sheen where I put down a lot of color. But other than that, the values are right on. So good job. So I am very happy with this box. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to deal with playing with the paper when I have an idea for a project, which will be probably pretty soon. Just wanted to take a look at the media. I'm currently just chucking everything back in the box. I still have stuff hanging around my desk, literally. I have a thing just hanging for a logo sketch I was doing. Okay, that doesn't say anything interesting. That's fine. The packing slip is very standard packing slip. Alrighty, so I do want to play with that sharpener. I don't have anything I need to sharpen right this second though. And put these in. Alright. Sorry, take me a moment. No hot tub show? Yeah, right. Anyways. This box does not want to close now. So that's fun. One of the flaps doesn't want to get tucked in. That's fine. I have been trying to remember which retailer I purchased this next stuff from, because I am kind of conflicted there. I think it's Jerry's Artorama. I'm pretty sure. So they had a sale running because they were discontinuing a couple paint colors, and I can show you my stickers. Okay, so rambling, lots of rambling, but this is kind of like the weird kind of let's get back into the swing of things. So I recently made stickers. I don't know if the gold is there. It is. All right, get the gold picking up. So we have stuff like Embrace the Chaos. These were my dividers. This was another copy of this sticker. I know I'm going to move soonish, so I figured while I was doing this batch, I'd just do another sticker. And then all kinds of fun stuff. I do want to have some stickers done for my shop at some point when I put that together. But I also wanted to do this as a good test run to see what the quality is initially before I try to do this like just as a thing. And then see, I got a weird artifact thing going on here. I'm try to get the right angle. So my machine decided to go ahead and just cut some of the letters there, and it shouldn't have, because I took a lot of time going in and filling that stuff in so I didn't have weird gaps where I didn't want them. So still need to do a little bit of troubleshooting, still figuring it out. It is what it is. So, next. Jerry's. Going on about the paint. Alright, so put that back down because I have paint. Where's my other box? Oh, you better not have escaped. Here's the other box. Right here behind my phone. It's such a cute little box. And I have a bigger box that's from them too, because stuff and things. I only have 10 minutes left. This is gonna... I'm definitely not doing all my swatches now. Damn. Time flies. So, yeah, crazy sale. Pretty sure this is Jerry's Artorama stuff, because before I got the Cheap Joes, and generally I order from Dick Blick. But just my preference is generally Dick Blick. I've used them for years, great customer service. Haven't had a reason to change other than inventory. Been waiting for one supply to come back in stock, and I've been waiting for almost 2 months off and on, so it kind of took a long while, and it's probably no fault of theirs. It's probably like just supply chain issues, and I happened to find a retailer who had what I wanted in stock. So with that, that's the two reasons why I wound up placing the order, because one, discontinued paint that I've wanted for a while, which is in particular this Sanguine Red. It's part of a special edition, limited edition set that Winsor Newton did, and this was called it was in what was called the Twilight Collection. There's some other colors that I didn't feel a need to get, like there's like a cobalt green, there was a smalt blue, which is a cool pigment, like historically is a cool pigment. It's a ground glass, and smalt is a blue glass. And there's a Quinacridone Violet, which I love Quin Violet, but I just restocked my Quin Violet, so I don't need it. I wasn't looking for the whole set. This was $3 for this tube, and which is a great price, because Winsor & Newton can be a bit pricey, I have learned. And everybody's been oohing and ahhing online about this transparent orange. So I got this. This was also part of another set. I don't remember if it was in the Twilight set, but it was in a desert set. So I was like, yeah, let me get that. Actually, most of this is from the desert set. I got them single pigments, just like individually, because it worked out to be cheaper that way. There's one color, and that was a limited edition that was not in stock at the time, and I think it was a yellow. Yeah, I feel like it was either a yellow or a red, but there was only one color that's not here. And then this is from their Cotman line. This was also being discontinued for like $1. I've been wanting to play with some more of the red-orange tones to see if I would feel like changing that in my palette. I've heard good things about this, even though it is a student paint. And it's also a cadmium. I haven't really played with the cadmiums, so nice time to try it. I could actually test it next to the Scarlet Reds that we have here, because Cadmium Red Light, I believe, is very, very similar in tone to that. So we will see. And then the big thing, the big reason why I ordered from them is I splurged. I splurged a lot. And this is something I've been looking at for a few months, and between returning a set of paint that I didn't want to Blick, I bought, it was a 5-color set. I really loved how one of the colors was in that set, so I bought that single, and then I returned the set of 5 because I didn't want to keep that whole set of 5. So I loved it. I love that one color. That's actually the Quinacridone Rose from M. Graham. It was a 5-color set of M. Graham, and I sent the rest back because I really liked the performance for the Daniel Smith paints on the paper that I'm using, so that was working better for me, but I really love the tone of the M. Graham Quin Rose because it's a warmer rose. I love my warm reds, and especially cool reds. I love red in general. I'm a sucker for red, but here's the splurge. If I can fit it in frame with all these little tubes of paint all over my desk. But it is the 84 set of the Neocolor 2s. I've seen quite a few artists using these online. This is kind of a downgrade as far as with Caran d'Ache. They had a larger set, I think it was 124. And pronunciation on that company for stream. I don't know. I'm rambling. But is this about Winsor Newton, Caran d'Ache? I don't know. But just going on about the comment. But anyway, so I have the 84 color set. This, like I said, was an inch short for the swatch cards that I printed out because I am going to swatch all of them. So I want to just off the bat be well prepared. See, these are the full sheets. These are A4 sized sheets, and I will probably post a link for the Etsy seller who made this wonderful swatch card because it is incredibly handy. So it's 6 colors per sheet, and it has all 84 of the colors on here. So I'll be able to just hole punch them. This one's a duplicate because my printer decided to try to eat the paper, but I just have it lumped in with these. I'll probably cut it out and turn these into bookmarks. I don't know. I'll paint these somehow and do something with them. I don't want to just throw them out and then it's a cool shape. So it'll work for bookmarks. But yeah, I want to swatch out all 84 of these. That will probably have to wait till next Wednesday at this point. I also want to do talks about like creative subjects. So things like, being stuck, limited palettes, finding references, putting together compositions, all of those sorts of topics, because those are fun topics for me. And I am kind of, again, random at the moment because I threw myself into the stream. I decided this less than an hour before getting into the stream. So that's why today's a little choppy. But yeah. So swatching is coming. I gotta remember to get the link for that swatch sheet. There is actually one more page of that document. It's a couple blanks and elephants that could be a possible cover for the swatch sheet. So that's put together really well. I think I might run over just a couple minutes and maybe do a quick look at these guys. I don't know, there's 6 of them. We got 3 minutes. Just gonna do a little dot. Like, I'm not getting out a palette for these guys. We'll just quick little intro. Unless some of these guys are pressurized to explode. I've had so many Daniel Smith colors do that to me. Alright, this is a little heavy with the binder, but yeah, Cadmium Red Light is pretty much spot on for that Scarlet Lake. I wanted to swatch that one over there because I thought it would be spot on. I'm curious about the transparent orange, how close it is. I'm gonna kind of do a modified little color wheel based on what these colors are. Oh wow, that is fiery. I like you. I think since I did that Phoenix drawing, I've just been really feeling the summery vibe and fiery colors. That's the oh, is part of this dried? No, it's not dried. It's just a little ring in the cap that was dry. That's fine. That's pretty too. It's like very, very informative and helpful. I'm just like, oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. Alright, this is, you know what, I will go over all the names as I paint them out. We'll just do a little paint out. I'm trying to squeeze just the tiniest little spots for each of these. I don't want this to just be sitting wet. Actually, that's more of an issue with the M-gram because they're honey based, and basically if you leave a little spot that's not dissolved and painted out, it's just a little sticky spot on the paper. That's why I'm kind of like trying to be careful. This is the Indian Red Deep. And again, I'm going to say what all these are when I actually apply some water to them. I love a lot of these sanguine and earthy colors. Phone notifications, yay! On a couple of these, the binder separated just a touch. So like, I feel like this one and that one were a little more juicy. I'll probably go ahead and get in there with like a straight pin or a toothpick or something to stir them a little bit. I'm just gonna put these in order so I can talk about what colors they are as I add some water. Alright, and real fast. This one is the Sanguine Red. This is what started the main thing being discontinued for a whole $3 for a 5ml tube, which is insane. On average, these tubes were between like $7 or $8. I think $9 on the high end. But yeah, a couple of them were on clearance. Where did I put my paper towel? There it is. I want these mixes to be a little wet, but not crazy. Alright, and then this is the Cadmium Red Light, which is pretty spot on with that Scarlet Red. I think there's a touch more red to it. That's quite pretty too. The Sanguine Red, I would say, looks a little bit like a cooler red at the moment, which I find surprising for the name of it, but not surprising considering it was in the Twilight set, and Twilight tends to have some cooler tones. This is the transparent orange, and that is lovely. I really like that. That might have to go on my palette. I've been debating adding like a vermilion, something along those lines, just to bend more towards like a reddish orange. This is the yellow Titanate. This kind of reminds me of is like a more transparent and less pale, like a Naples yellow. Like if I added some buff titanium, I'd probably get to a Naples yellow tone, which that's a really interesting color. And I like them all together too. I'd probably switch the order. I feel like this one's a little more fiery. This is the Indian Red Deep. And I'm just going to finish swatching these two. We'll kind of end off right there. I'll probably do better swatch sheets where I take a look at things like transparency, liftability, how they look with a glaze. But for the moment, I'm just like I'm just excited to get back to it. It's a really interesting color too. This is the first like tube of black paint that I bought. I got 2 little pans of lamp black and what was the other one? It was another black from Daniel Smith, because I was thinking about doing a Zorn palette. That palette's a little bit buried, so I'm not gonna just pull it out, but it was another classic black, not Mars black. But between those two, I was like, this chromium black's kind of neat. That's definitely granulating. Same for this. The Indian Red Deep is really neat too. This is reminding me a lot of my my favorite red, the Anthraquinoid Red, but it looks like it's a different pigment. It says PR 187, where Anthraquinoid Red is PR 177, and I really like this color. Just for comparison. Oh, that's my Pyro Crimson, hold on. There's like this cherry-ishness to it. I'm grabbing my Anthraquinoid Red real quick. See how similar they are? And what I like about it, when you use it in mass tone, it's really powerful red, but it dilutes down to like a decent pink. So it's really good for like a cherry red. And I like doing that instead of like Quinacridone Red or Quinacridone Rose for my palette for a while. But the problem with the PR 177 is it's not very light fast. And so while I have it on some of my palettes, like my older ones, it's one that I'm looking at replacing because I don't want to have something where I'm questioning the light fastness. Like, it's one thing if I'm maybe like doing a journal page or something, but yeah, if you use it in lighter washes, it's prone to fading. And that's the issue with Daniel Smith's Moon Glow, because they used the PR 177 in it. Instead, this one's PR 187. It says it has good light fastness. I will definitely research around a little bit more to see what maybe like Handprint has to say about it. But I am really liking that. It's a decent strength. Yeah, I've been a little bit on the fence between my reds. It is my palette struggle at the moment. Like, I can't just pick a red and go. So I've been testing several dots. And yeah, I'm somewhere between, like, if somebody's holding a gun to my head, I would probably do Pyro Crimson with what was that, Engrams? Quinacridone Red? Oh, Engrams Quinacridone Rose. Like, that pretty much gets there, because you have the darker tone from the Pyro Crimson, and then you have the pinkish from the Engram. But yeah, here's my mess of reds. So we have 3 over here, 3 over here. This is me getting into some of like the reddish orange tones from let's see, this is Pyro Scarlet. Very different from Engram's Scarlet Pyro. Engram's Scarlet Pyro is flat out an orange. This one, this is Daniel Smith's Pyro Scarlet. And this is really similar to that Cadmium Red Light, but it's more transparent. Which is why I brought that back on the palette, is like I said, for that Zorn palette that I'm kind of tooling around with. I haven't added a black to this palette though. Right now I have kind of a Payne's Gray serving for that. think that's this one. Yeah. I mean, it's not bad as far as like cooling things down. I don't know why I can't remember between Lamp Black versus this other tone. Like, one of them's cooler, one of them's warmer. I'm just blanking on it. But the other colors were a yellow ochre. At the moment I have Quinacridone Gold and Raw Sienna instead. So I'm still playing around. And what's the other color? I know there's another color because the Zorn palette is... oh, white. Zorn palette actually uses white. Yeah. But I am really enjoying that nickel, the yellow Titanate. That's really neat. Here's just to compare. So, yellow Titanate. This is Raw Sienna. It's more yellow than the Raw Sienna. You can just see that in this paint out. This is very, very kind of brown. Though it does work as a yellow when you're painting the sky. And the cool thing with the Raw Sienna is it doesn't green from Jane Blundell's color tests. And then we have the Quin Gold, and really that's like the perfect average between the two. It's you know, I could probably do a nice little puddle for a mix. Some Quin Gold. Grab a little bit of the Raw Sienna. I don't normally go on top of my paints. I don't like to muddy them, but I think I went too much. A little too much Raw Sienna, but yeah, it's basically if you did Quin Gold and Raw Sienna, but that winds up being a 3-pigment mix. Yeah, it's not bad as far as trying to get that tone. But I'm pretty sure the nickel Titanate was one color. And I really gotta end the stream. Yeah, PBR24. This is the same pigment that another brand uses for their Naples Yellow. They probably have just a slightly lighter tone for it. I think that was either M. Graham or Da Vinci, if I remember right. But, yeah. I gotta wind down and get to the end. But I'm really happy and excited to play with these further. And I think maybe that is my yellow to go to for this Zorn palette that I've been wanting to play with. And then buff titanium for the white. Maybe I'll put some white gouache on here, but the problem is if I put gouache on this palette, as soon as I close it, it tends to pop off and wander around a bit. There you go, a little spot of buff titanium. That yellow Titanate is really pretty with it. Alrighty. So, this has been fun, trying to get back into the swing of things, and getting to talk to you guys again. And I am 90 miles a minute as far as where my brain's at, with wanting to get more stuff done, and having to move at a logical pace. I'm probably talking too fast for some people's comfort, which I am sorry. I've been, I don't know, just really psyched to get started here. I was really happy to have this nice tropical background too that I put together. It was fun with playing around with the different elements. Yeah, I'm surprised I went with that kind of like a sandy pink in the background. But I was feeling really tropical, and it seemed like a good tone to use back there. I could probably go a little more peachy with it, with like a Quin Coral maybe. But yeah. I'm excited to see you guys next Wednesday and see where we get to with swatching, because that is going to be an epic swatch session. Most likely that's going to take a couple weeks, because that's a lot of colors, a lot of talking. Yeah, been fun. Thank you for joining me, and looking forward to catching you next week as we continue swatching, and I will have a more specific topic. Like I'll spend some time in preparation, like get back to where I was with, I don't know, at least a general thread that I want to go on about with, in regards to creativity. So it's nice to be back to painting. It's been a week and a half. But it's not been a week and a half, it's been a month and a half. Jeez. I can English. I'll get there eventually. But thanks for joining me. And I'll see you next week. Bye for now. Keep on painting.